Well, disaster training. For years now, CBS 6 News has been reporting on the potential dangers of increased rail shipments of highly flammable crude oil. Just last week, I'm sure you remember those devastating consequences of a train derailment, this one involving crude oil in Lynchburg, Virginia. The residents here in the capital region have been voicing their concerns, and Governor Cuomo is taking notice. He gave firefighters practice in battling crude oil fires as part of a two-day training exercise. That training just wrapped up a few minutes ago at the Port of Albany. Jennifer Mullen is there live for us tonight. And how did things go, Jen?
Well, the Homeland Security officials and firefighters, they spent the afternoon here in this controlled environment. You can actually see some of the leftover foam from the firefighters. This was part of the drill here. They were simulating a fire that stemmed from a tanker truck's leak. And the chief tells me that today was great experience for his crew because it's relevant to any ignitable liquid fire that could happen here locally. It's a first for local firefighters that took part in a program now known as Fire Class B foam operations. It's an expanded version of the training firefighters received over the last 3 years. 24 firefighters from several agencies participated in the hands-on drill at the Port of Albany, and it mocked an emergency situation similar to the derailment and leaks in Virginia we saw last week.
Not directly related to the Virginia incident. I think the best answer is this training is relevant and applicable to crude oil as an ignitable liquid or any other sort of ignitable liquid, but the training here today is not a result of that.
For this particular training, they're focusing on using foam because in these types of liquid emergencies, water does not work. Chief, why is this kind of training so important?
Well, it's important to deal with that specific hazard. Whether it be gasoline, ethanol, the training we have today is applicable to all sorts of ignitable liquids, both flammable and combustible.
Sandy Stubing, a member of PAWS, People of Albany United for Safe Energy, watched some of today's training. She says it's not enough.
What we need is for these firefighters to be able to cope with the aftermath of a huge explosion of the kind that we have seen 5 times in the past 9 months.
But Chief Cable says he'd have to disagree. He says if an emergency were to occur, his men and women would be ready, and it's thanks to training programs like this.
One of our core missions is to better prepare firefighters and other emergency responders to deal with the hazards that they're going to encounter, occurring hazardous materials and ignitable liquids specifically.
And Governor Cuomo says that today's training is one of a series of steps that the state has taken to make sure that the community is protected against things that are created from trains moving massive crude oil throughout the state. So that's definitely an initiative that he is trying to be proactive on today and in the future. We're live in Albany. Jennifer Mullen, CBS 6 News.